Before I start, I want to make a quick apology for the time between uploads. There is a reason which I'll get into later, but for now, you just have my deepest John apologies. Not too long ago, I was on a lecture and I was caught up on all my manga, just sitting there actually listening to the lecture, and it was a little bit boring. When all of a sudden the gods descended down from the heavens and they put a book into my hands. It was a book with thousands of stories in it. It was a book about mortality and grief, and it was a book that outright lied to me. This book was Goodbye Eri. Your next line is, how exactly does a 200-page manga have thousands of stories? Well, dear Vera, to understand that, we need to go back all the way to the start of the manga. It begins on our main character Yuta's 12th birthday, where he gets a phone. Truly a dream come true for any 12-year-old, but Yuta won't be playing any Clash of Clans on this phone, because his mom is sick and she got Yuta the phone to record her so they can look back on her after she's dead. It's a very grim concept for a story, but at the same time, it's not portrayed entirely that way. We get pages of wholesome panels dedicated to Yuta and his family's life through the camera. They go to the aquarium, his parents go on dates, Yuta tries to record his mum pooing? What? They watch TV. Yuta tries to record his mum taking a bath? Holy shit, this Yuta kid's a perv. But during these wholesome and perverted panels, we also see her condition get worse and worse until it's her final moments. Yuta's told in the car ride to the hospital that his mum wants him to record her final moments, but as they arrive at the hospital, Yuta doesn't go in. He instead turns around and runs away. And I'll be honest here, it's one of the more real reactions I've seen from any manga character. It's a young boy not ready to watch his mother die, so he just runs away. And I sat there for a minute, not ready for the next page, not ready for an emotional explosion. Huh? It's not even too far into the one-shot, and it's already become very clear who the author is. Tatsuki Fujimoto, one of the biggest trolls among all mangaka, and for those that don't know him by name, his most popular work is Chainsaw Man. But this man, he gets away with the wildest shit I've ever seen. He managed to get a lesbian orgy into Shonen Jump magazines, as well as all of chapter 167 of Chainsaw Man. This man, he wrote a one-shot about two sisters drawing each other naked, and I hate to say it, but it is really damn good. He writes some of the weirdest characters with some of the strangest plots, and this manga is no exception. The entire story we've seen so far is a film, recorded, edited, and put together by a middle schooler. And on top of this, the middle schooler is a character whose way of coping with death is to cover it in explosions! What the fuck? Anyway, moving on from that, we see the reactions to Yuta's film, all of which are pretty darn brutal. People laugh in his face, and they call him straight up evil for making a mockery of his mum's death. The manga then shifts to a darker tone with Yuta's suicide video, where he confesses to the camera how all the remarks got to him, how it feels to be mocked after you put everything you have into a project. Then, some of the most dreadful pages, wordless panels of Yuta's suicide. By sheer luck, Yuta's suicide is stopped by a random girl. A person that Yuta doesn't know, but she knows Yuta. Because somewhere in that crowded hall there was one person who genuinely loved his movie. Someone who cried at it and hated all the people that laughed at it. She, without even telling Yuta her name, leads him to an abandoned building and makes him watch movies till 2 AM. Then she asks him to make another movie, this time with the goal to make the audience bawl their eyes out. He agrees, and after all that, she introduces herself and reveals her name.
And it's time for a quick break. Hey, dear viewer, this is where I need to get into big spoilers of the manga, so if you want to experience those twists yourself before coming back and watching the rest of the video, then now's the time to go. And we're back!
Eri tells Yuta that his film was clearly made by an amateur and that he needs to watch more movies before making his next one. So that's what they do. Together they watch lots and lots and lots of movies, along with Yuta trying to pitch movie ideas to Eri. And after many failed attempts at this, Yuta finally gets in the kitchen and starts cooking up a new movie idea, one so great that Eri will finally agree. And it's a big old pile of horseshit. Because his idea basically was,
Hey, it's me, Yuta. I'll reuse my old movie and footage and then use more footage that I filmed until now. And I'll say you're a vampire. I haven't thought of the rest yet.
make it up now.
The vampire girl is sick and is going to die. And she's afraid of being forgotten, so she wants someone to shoot a movie of her. The vampire girl and me, I mean the protagonist of the movie, fall in love, and then, ooh, I know, the vampire girl dies.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Are you crazy?
They then begin to make the second film. Yuta's dad does some acting for the movie, then Yuta and Eri go out to do the same when she suddenly faints. And yeah, it's not much of a surprise. I mean, they literally planned this in the last scene. Wait. Huh? It turns out that Eri is really dying and she confesses to only liking his first film because she related to his mom's final requests and wishes Yuta to do the same for her. My god, give my poor boy Yuta a break. Yuta, once again, not ready to watch someone close to him die, runs away. And when he gets back home, his dad later hears about what happened and about Eri's condition, and decides now's a good time to let him know that he actually did film his mom's final moments. And let me say this. This was crazy when I read it. It's one of my all-time favorite plot twists, and I have screenshots of my friends DMing me this page after they read it. So no voiceover by me will ever do this justice. Wow, man, still wild, even when I know it's coming. Anyway, Yuta's dad talks about being amazed at how beautifully Yuta's mom was portrayed compared to how she normally acted around Yuta. And Yuta replies about how he only wanted to remember the good things, so that's what he made a movie about. Yuta, you have the power to decide for yourself how you'll remember someone. That's an incredible thing. I think maybe Eri wants you to choose how she is remembered. And the words must have hit Yuta because he returns to Eri, giving up on his film idea and begins to simply film her. Oh, and that's after him showing her a video of him shitting, which is the second time he's done this to her. And now if you have eyes, you'll notice that what we see is just dates of her and Yuta, and if you don't have eyes, I hope you have ears, because she asks Yuta if they filmed any kissing scenes. Wait. This is a manga, that joke doesn't really... But like earlier in the manga, as the pages go on, the person the camera is pointed at has their condition worsen until it's their final conversation. This time with one change. Yuta is there to film it.
Eri, what kind of movie did you want me to make?
Like I've told you from the beginning.
What was that again?
A movie that'll make their audience bawl their eyes out. And they goddamn succeeded. In the manga and out of it. Sorry. After the second film is screened, we get to see some dialogue between Yuta and Eri's friend, and they talk about how he portrayed Eri in his film. Although this time the feedback he receives is a lot more positive, it becomes a very wholesome short exchange. At least I wish that was the case. But during this conversation, she asks a question. One that in a normal conversation would be so normal. But in this case, it's one that sent me spiraling down a massive rabbit hole and set this manga among the top that I've ever read. Didn't Eri wear glasses? When I read it, I stopped, refusing to turn the page, and instead I turned the back, and oh my god, not in a single page was she wearing glasses. Not while watching movies, not while they were on dates, not even when she's coincidentally on the roof to prevent Yuta's suicide. Just one line that brings into question the entire manga before. It was this line that made me realize that Goodbye Eri is a story told by an unreliable narrator. And yeah, I know, I should have realized sooner. But now to explain what an unreliable narrator is, we need an example. Let's take this video. In this case, I'm the narrator and this video is my story. Now in just 10 minutes, I have spoon-fed you information about me and probably formed some sort of character of myself in your mind. And some of you may have just thrown away the information, but the information was still given. I started off the video by apologizing for the long wait between uploads, but if you check my channel, you'll notice that this is my first video. I've used bleeps which may make you think that I love revenue, but no, I actually just don't swear at all. Those bleeps are cutting out words that are completely fine. And look at this message, my name isn't Jared, it's Seb. Let's hit you with a double whammy here. None of my friends have even read Goodbye Eri. This message doesn't exist. You know what? Hell, let's hit you with a triple whammy. I don't even have friends. Oh, alright, you get the idea. Also, that last thing was a lie. I have friends.
Oh, show off, would you?
I portrayed myself as Jared, a content creator who cares about a consistent upload schedule, someone who loves money, a guy who has heaps of friends who read the manga I recommend them. When in reality, I'm Seb, a guy who's new to this YouTube thing, trying to make it big, who has friends, one of whom reads manga but still hasn't read Goodbye Eri despite my constant recommendations. And I won't say who. It's Shibe. And after all that, you may be thinking, what the heck, how was I supposed to know that? And am I supposed to care? And to quickly answer that last question, no. No with my video, no with Goodbye Eri. The thing with unreliable narration is that the narrator expects you to believe them. And hell, many of the reviews that I've read take Goodbye Eri's story as it's presented, assuming everything they've read is true. Even the events that, to me, seem like they're just made up for the film. And that's completely fine, you can take everything at face value with the story, and you won't get any worse of an experience. All you'll get is maybe a different story than what you'd get if you questioned what you were reading a little further. I made this video to try and mirror what Fujimoto does with Goodbye Eri. He sets up characters presenting them and their actions as the truth. With my video, when I was being an unreliable narrator, you as the viewer had no way to tell I wasn't being truthful for the most part. You can't unbleep my video. But for some of them, you were able to find inconsistencies, like bad Photoshop, or the fact that I used 2 different names for myself before the reveal, and the most obvious being the fact that there are no videos on my channel before this one. Now, if you noticed an inconsistency, you're presented with a decision of sorts, to decide your, sorry for lack of better words, headcanon. My first thought if I saw this video would be that it's the channel's first video, while others might see this and think that I had videos before this and ended up deleting them because I didn't like them. Maybe others thought, my Wi-Fi sucks and I can't even load the other video he was talking about. Of course, I've told you which of the 3 is the real one, but in Goodbye Eri, we don't have that. And without someone here to outright tell you what the story is, you get to find the inconsistencies and decide for yourself what's a red herring and what's real. Because there is no way to prove what the real story is here, unless Fujimoto trolls me and drops his little sister's take on Twitter. But unless that happens, the manga is a story told by Yuta who so masterfully blurs the line between what's in his film and what isn't that he makes the reader unknowingly decide what they believe is in the story. To quickly summarize that last point, it's a pick your own adventure without asking you to make the choices. And I have the data to prove it. A whole 3 sets of data. Yeah, that's right, it turns out if you skip stats, you can still have the ability to ask people questions. My wide variety of participants are... me, my mum, and my sister. Look, I told you my friends refused to read this. Anyway, spoilers ahead for the end of the manga here. It ends with Yuta visiting the same building he watched the films in Eri with, many years after her death, only to find her sitting on the couch without having aged a day. They talk for a small bit and Yuta walks out of the building and it explodes. Now I asked my mum and sister what they thought about it and they both replied, weird, which wasn't really what I was looking for, so I asked a little more specifically with 3 questions. First question is, what happened to Eri? My sister said, she's dead. My mum said, she's a vampire. And what I believe is that Eri died and those are clips recorded ages ago with Yuta edited in. I then asked, what happened to Yuta? My sister couldn't really decide. My mom said he grew up unlucky, and I said he became a successful filmmaker and remastered his Eri film. Now for the final question. Did Yuta really send videos of him shitting to Eri? My sister replied, die. My mom asked, what? And I said, are you crazy? There is no way someone would smile at a video like that. Twice. And what caused all these different answers? We all read the same story, didn't we? Well, if you think about it a little, as soon as it was revealed that the story was lying to you, it's hard for you to build back that trust with it. The viewer begins to question whether what they see is real. And Goodbye Eri opens up heaps of avenues for this, because there's some plotlines that just feel a little too unlikely, and probably the more obvious is that there's scenes that just seem to outright clash. Take for example the relationship between Eri and Yuta.
We see them being together and talking about being together, but later Yuta says that they weren't a couple. It's the discrepancies in this manga that forces the viewer to choose what they believe. This is all further enforced by looking at online reviews, because while reading them it looks like some people are reading completely different stories. I saw some talking about how Eri and Yuta were a cute couple, while others complained about there being absolutely no romance in the story. And all of what people say are as likely, because we don't have the person to tell us what's real in the story. I think overall it's a very interesting concept of a story from Fujimoto's part. It's such a good use of unreliable narration, and also now when someone points out a plot hole, he can simply reply, "Oh, a plot hole? Yeah, that was an intentional part of the story. To throw you off." And all of that is what makes Goodbye Eri so interesting to me. It's the fact that you can choose how you want to perceive the story, what's in the film and what's not. And it's a story that splits off into thousands of different ones within its 200 pages. It's a manga that inspires the reader to fill in the blanks and create their own unique take on the story, finding the message that resonates with their own life the most. It's a truly beautiful and unique one-shot that I highly suggest that you read for yourself and find your own version and share it. Maybe there's still more to Goodbye Eri that I haven't seen. Or maybe I'm just digging too deep and should have listened to the song.
Whoa. You really thought I was gonna end the video there?